Onset simply means the beginning, that very first moment that something happens. And onset happens in all kinds of things in life. The onset of the universe was the Big Bang. The onset of a cold is a runny nose. The onset in singing is that very first resonant tracking, and then that very first moment of release into your singing voice. This would be an onset in singing. Right there, nothing more. Stop right about there. That is the onset. We train a lot and we care a lot in TVS techniques about this onset, about the quality of what's happening at the beginning of your phonation. If your onset is correct, then the phonation that follows will be correct. That's the rule. If your onset has bugs in it, it's got problems with it, it's not quite right, then the phonation that follows your onset will have problems in it. So in our training, especially in the beginning, as a beginner of TVS techniques, you work diligently on learning how to make great onsets. And what defines a great onset? The components inside, the technical components inside the TVS onset package. So if onset means what I do at the start, basically, then the onset package is the contents inside that onset. That's why I call it a package. The list of technical components that need to be executed, that need to be rubbed into the muscle memory. When? Right at the start, right at the onset. Some of those technical components inside the onset package are the resonant track. I mentioned it earlier on the semioccluded phonations. The onset has its own unique semioccluded phonation. If we stick with our medium mass phonation example at the moment, and therefore we phonate a medium mass onset, the first technical component inside the medium mass onset package is the semioccluded phonation known as the resonant track, the okay, that's the first thing I'm going to do. Then I'm going to release my singing voice, and when I release my singing voice, look at the list of the things on the onset package. All that happens at the same time. I drop my jaw. I lift or bite and make sure I've got this preferred open formant for training. I make sure my tongue is forward. I make sure that I'm phonating our preferred onset training vowel, which might be different depending upon your language. But regardless of the language, it's always going to be something O, so something open. In English, it's E. Your vowel could be an A, that's okay too, or an A, that could be okay. But our preferred training vowel on the onset in TVS for English speakers is E, E-H, E, not A, the A with the diphthong, but really more like an Italian or Latin E, the jaw down. That vowel becomes a component in the onset package. What else is on that list? Your preferred exotic vocal mode. What's that? It's not speech, it's twang. So what I'm saying is, on your onset, we got good shape of the mouth, we're phonating through the proper vowel, really important, and we have just a touch, just a hint, just a pinch of a little bit of, just a little bit of twang in that onset. And the list goes on. Your onset package includes thinking about the extrinsic anchoring too. Your onset package includes opening your eyes. Beginning students stare at their shoelaces too much. You gotta open your eyes when you're singing, don't close your eyes. And on and on and on. This onset package can be phonated both medium or light. So, back to our medium mass onset gives us our medium mass phonation. It starts with and we'll go to our friend, our pocket tone friend here, and we will sing real notes. For men, this is a good place to work out. We'll sing the G3 to a G4, slow ascending octave siren, so that we can work on both the onset and, of course, as always, all the time, timing of the bridging, placement of the headtones. That is a TVS medium mass onset. Why? Well, because it feels like medium mass. It's kind of bigger. It's more. It has a lot of volume to it, and my resonant tracking on that medium mass onset is the. Okay, I'll do it again, and then I will proceed to do the octave siren. A great note. I mean, that's good stuff. It's very medium mass. Good for performance. Great for recording. When you're really excited about new music and you really want to get behind it, you might find yourself phonating in a medium mass phonation. You may actually be in the moment and thinking, wow, I'm in a medium mass phonation right now. But that's okay. I want you to understand the difference between the feeling. You want to be able to know the difference. The light mass onset, followed by the light mass phonation, is, well, it's lighter. The advantages of the light mass are, it's less fatiguing. Now, that isn't to say that the medium mass is unhealthy. It's not at all. But it is to say that the light mass is less fatiguing. The light mass is better for training, especially beginners. So the light mass onset followed by the light mass phonation is what I want you to do in your TVS training and be thinking about and working on. The light mass phonation also is really great to give you a nice fluttery vibrato. It tends to be a little bit prettier. I don't mean that in a feminine way. I mean that just in kind of an aesthetic way. It's a little bit prettier, a light mass phonation. If you like that classic Steve Perry sound, kind of that prettier tenor sound, that would be an example of what the light mass phonation, the kind of sound that it can create for you. But most importantly is use the light mass phonation, onset and phonation, in your training. The light mass onset starts with the light mass resonant tracking, which is the cry fry. I'm just going to start with a little bit of fry. This is vocal fry. Just make this sound. And then if you close your lips around that, you're frying inside and behind the lips. If we put a little bit of cry into that, which is basically a whimper, and we combine the cry with the fry, you get fry, cry, cry, fry. And that's your semi-occluded phonation for the light mass phonations, for light mass onsets. So here we go. I'm going to set up my cry-fra, resonant tracking, and release into a light mass onset. It's different than medium. Watch. May. Just want to cue my note again real quick here. That's close. May. And as I release into that light mass phonation, I don't lean into it, even ever so slightly, like I might in a medium mass onset. The light mass onset is floaty, it's silky, it's floaty, it's just enough to bring the vocal folds together, just enough to create a nice phonation, nothing more. Again. That is your light mass onset. Now, so that you can hear the two together, medium mass onset. Perfectly healthy, perfectly fine, just not what I'm advising you to do for your training right now. And the light mass onset. You can hear the difference, and you can feel the difference too. Okay? My light mass onset followed by the light mass phonation gives us this. I'll do the slow ascending octave siren to the G4. You see, did you hear that really nice flutter, that nice vibrato-y flutter in there? Light mass gives you a really sweet vibrato. Okay? Medium mass onset with a medium mass phonation. Okay? Light mass onset with the light mass phonation. Do you hear the difference? Well, when you learn to do it, you'll feel the difference too. So I just want you to understand the difference between these two masses that in TVS you can phonate in light or medium mass, and both are perfectly healthy and fine. It's just that the light mass phonation is the one that I want you to use in your training. Okay? So there you have it.